guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Paige and this is my open book. In today's video, we're going to be doing a collective book haul. I was looking at my shelves and I realized that over the past month or so, I've accumulated quite a few books. I didn't even realize how many books I've been buying recently. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and let's chat about some books that I've purchased recently. Yeah, so I'm not going to go in any particular order. I'm just going to grab from the stack. So first up we have a historical romance, which I've actually got two of them here. So I've been trying to get into historical romance more because I've really only found one that I liked, which was the first book in this series by Joanna Shoup. So I think the first book is like the Fifth Avenue Rogue or something like that. And I can always find that book and the third book in the series, but I can never seem to find the second one usually. But I actually found this at Barnes & Noble the other day. So I decided to finally get it so I could continue the series. So basically this is set in New York in, I think it's like before the Depression. It's been a while since I read the other books. I think it's like the 1920s or something. But this is Joanna Shoup's Uptown Girl series. And so what I like about this, it's historical. Oh, I'm off on the dates totally. This takes place in 1891. Sorry. So it's historical, but it's still in America. And I feel like it's not super old like medieval times because I feel like that's like a little bit much for me in the historical realm. But this is like a good happy medium for me. Powerful casino owner, ruthless mastermind, destroyer of men. That's how he's described on the back of the book. And then she's kind of like society's darling. So she comes from like a rich family and she's kind of like the good girl, right? So we got opposites attract, good girl, bad boy. This is another one I've heard really good things about. Specifically this author, Harper St. George, the Gilded Age Heiresses. But I can never find the first book, but I finally did. Same Barnes & Noble actually, had both of these. So I guess that's the Barnes & Noble I need to go to for historical romances. So this one I've heard is more on the spicier side. So this takes place in the Victorian age, it looks like. Yeah, Victorian high society, marriage and convenience, American heiress with a duke. So I'm excited to see if historical romance will still work for me or if that one book was just a fluke. We'll see. If you have any other historical romance recommendations that you like, let me know down below because I need to know where to go next after this. Next we have, I got this from the YA section. And this is a Greek mythology retelling. So this is called Daughters of Sparta. I don't know if it's a complete trilogy or if there's only 3 books out right now, but basically this is Daphne and Apollo romance, I believe. But I like how this is also giving more like YA like adventure kind of vibes to me too. Like this is very clearly a strong female main character who's trained to be a warrior in Sparta. So yeah, Sparta forged her into a deadly weapon. Now the gods need her to save the world. So yeah, there's a lot of Greek mythology going on in this and I love that. I've always been fascinated by Greek mythology, so I love seeing different people's take on it. And I don't know, I haven't really seen anyone talk about this. I just saw this in the YA section and I was like, this book is calling my name and I feel like I have to get it. So I did. Next up, I got this one on my most recent Barnes & Noble trip because I'm trying to beef up my fall TBR and this totally gives fall vibes with the witchiness. So this is called Payback's a Witch and this is a sapphic romance involving witches. So I am curious because there were also other books in this series that I really wanted to read, but I hate reading stuff out of order. So I'm like, okay, just get book 1, make sure you like it, and if so, you can get the rest of the series. Because I was honestly very tempted to buy like book 4 today, and I'm like, no, Paige, start with book 1, see how it goes. But yeah, I think this is like a witch coming back to her small town, and she ends up meeting the other female main character, and they kind of have to team up for something. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, don't really know much about it, but I see people posting about this book a lot. So I don't know if they're posting it because it's just cute fall vibes or do they actually like the story. So that'll be the test. This is another YA book that I picked up. This is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I haven't read anything by her yet. I know she got really popular with the Inheritance games, which I do also kind of want to pick that up. But this spoke to me more than the Inheritance games. So this is very much giving me Criminal Minds energy, and this follows a group of teens that get recruited by the FBI because they each have some kind of like special gift, and they team up to try and catch serial killers, I presume. But this is like a whole series. I think there's like 4 books in the series, and I've heard that this series is really, really good and really addicting, very bingeable. So I'm excited. I haven't really found a series like this before, so I'm excited because I'm a big Criminal Minds fan. So this gives me that same energy, like I'll be happy. Next up, I got Spellbound. So this kind of also gave me fall vibes in the sense that it seems like this is like a haunted hotel setting. So it sounds like the female main character inherited a haunted hotel from her family, and she's trying to like save the hotel, but she realizes that there are 2 twins who are bound to the hotel for life, and they're unable to leave except for 1 night a year. This comes from Wattpad. So I don't know, I feel like it's probably giving me fan fiction vibes, but honestly, not mad at that. Not mad at that. And yeah, I just thought this would be a good one to read around Halloween because it's supposed to be like a haunted setting. So this is the book I got for half off. This is Things I Wanted to Say by Monica Murphy. So this was already on my fall TBR because it gives me kind of like back to school vibes. Stop saying vibes. This takes place in the back to school season. Oh my god. It's supposed to be similar to Gossip Girl, but it's like a darker bully romance. I already read the second book in this series because at the time I didn't realize it was part of a series, and that was A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, and I loved that book. It was like one of my favorite books of the year that when I read it. I think I read it in like 2021 or maybe last year. I'm not sure, but one of my favorite books for sure. But I haven't read anything else by this author or in this series. So we're starting with book 1. And I was happy to get this half off. This isn't my favorite cover. I like the dark covers better, but it was half off, so I'm not gonna complain. And I like that it's like a pretty hefty book. I don't know, like it feels like weighty in my hands, you know? It feels substantial. Another fall one that I picked up, this is My Roommate is a Vampire. This is a newer release, so I haven't seen that many reviews, but it just looks so cute. Like, I don't know, I love this cover. So just like the title says, she ends up moving somewhere and realizes her roommate is a vampire. I think it could be fun. It could be fun for the Halloween season. Then these 2 I actually got at Walmart because they were on sale for only like $11, $12. And I already had the first 2 books in this series. So I actually talked about this in a previous like weekly wrap-up video. In the month of September, I read the first book of this series and it was a good time. So I'm excited to finish it, because I want to be able to read the romance of every single sibling in the Clarksons family. So this series is called Romancing the Clarksons, I believe. So I think this is book 3. Too hard to forget. This is about the youngest sister. And then you have the last book, which is Too Beautiful to Break. And this is about the oldest brother. You actually get a glimpse of his love interest in the very first book. So I already know this is probably gonna be the one I'm like the most excited about because the build-up already started in book 1, and this is the last book of the series. Like, oh, Tessa Bailey, why do you torture us like this? And of course he's like my favorite sibling, so of course his book is last. But I will be patient. I will read them in order because I know it'll be worth it. Another Tessa Bailey book I got to finish out series that I'm collecting. So this is, I don't even know what the series is called. Yeah, it doesn't even say. But this one is called Tools of Engagement. This is the last book, the 3rd book in a series. So I'll show you on the back. The first book was Fix Her Up. I read that and loved it. Loved it, loved it. And then this is the 2nd book. I haven't read it yet, but I have a good feeling about it because it's a marriage in trouble. And I usually like those books. So I feel good about it. This is the one, admittedly, I'm the least excited about. But I was like, you know, I really want to be able to have the whole series. It just satisfies my type A brain to show that I have like a complete set of something. So I don't know how I'm going to like this one because I think this gives enemies to lovers. That's not usually my favorite trope, but like if it's done well, then I like it. So maybe if Tessa Bailey's the one writing it, fingers crossed. We'll see. And then, I don't know if you guys are going to believe me. I had to get a second copy of Things We Left Behind. Okay, I literally just finished reading Things We Left Behind. The original copy I pre-ordered from Amazon. I finished reading that like Friday night, okay? Saturday morning, my husband and I go to Barnes & Noble, and I see that they have Things We Left Behind, and it said it was like a special edition. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if this has extra bonus content, because the one I pre-ordered already had the bonus epilogue. So is this actually a special edition, or is it the same? So I was gonna flip through just to see if it had any extra stuff in the back. Look at this. Lucy Score signed this. I had to get it. I had to get it. I already have the other copy that I read that I tabbed to pieces. Like, it's like lit up with page flags. I'm gonna have to transfer those page flags to this copy now, because I could not resist. I could not resist. And it wasn't even like sold as a signed copy. I really think she just went into my Barnes & Noble and just signed some copies, like in her free time. How? I don't know how I got so lucky. I really don't. I really don't, but I'm not gonna complain. I'm excited. This was only like 16 bucks because my husband has the membership to Barnes & Noble. So this is normally 19 and we got it for 20% off on that particular day. So I said, yes, please, you're coming home with me. Thank you so much. Okay, next up, I got a copy of There Are No Saints by Sophie Lark. I was gonna just read the ebook because I'm doing a book club for this book. I wanted a physical copy that I could highlight or annotate, and I could leave like sticky notes with notes in there so I would know like what I wanted to talk about in the book club meetings. So I picked up a physical copy even though it's on Kindle Unlimited. And I didn't even realize this is like an illustrated edition. So it has these chapter headers like this with the snakes, kind of mirrors the cover. And then let me see if I can find one of the illustrations in here. Yeah, so it has like illustrations. It's really cool. This is a serial killer romance. I did already start it, but I've only read the first like 5 chapters. And I don't know. I really don't know. Serial killer romances are hard for me because while I do find learning about serial killers interesting, like from like a scientific, psychological standpoint, it's hard for me to believe a romance with a serial killer. Just because obviously like romanticizing crime is not always okay, let's be real. But sometimes authors do it in the right way to where like, I get it. And I think Sophie Lark is doing a good job so far. Obviously check the trigger warnings because this is very like dark content in this book, but so far I'm liking it. But I'll keep you posted as my book club goes along. Then I got a copy of Belladonna. I haven't read this yet and I wasn't planning on reading it, but I follow this girl on Instagram. Her handle is Literary Alexandra, and she was like obsessing over this book, and she was like posting like her reactions while she was reading it, and she like showed some of the stuff that she highlighted, and I was like, wait, this sounds really good. And my Barnes & Noble had the one with the sprayed edges, like a paperback copy. So I decided to pick it up. At the very least, it'll be beautiful on my shelf, but I'm excited. This is like a YA fantasy romance, I think, but it's like it's like a gothic romance, and I believe the love interest is death. So I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll see. Speaking of pretty copies, I got Forget Me Not by Julie Soto. This was buy one get one half off at my Barnes & Noble, and I snagged it up. I was planning on waiting until spring to read this book just because, like, come on, this totally gives spring energy, right, with the cover. So I know the female main character is like a wedding planner or something, and I think he's like a florist. So the flower cover actually makes sense. And this is a second chance romance, which you guys know is one of my favorite tropes ever. And I've just been seeing this book blow up on Bookstagram. So I'm really excited, and I got it for half off. So like, win-win. The book that I got with that as the buy one get one half off combo is Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This is another sapphic romance. And in this one, I believe this character right here, Delilah, she's kind of like a player. She kind of just sleeps around with a lot of people. She's not really the kind of person that can date or be in a serious relationship. And then you've got Claire. She is a single mom. And it's kind of like an opposites attract situation. This is Between Never and Forever by Britt Benson. So I went to a book signing. Well, I realized that Britt Benson had a table there, and I have been dying to read this book because I've heard so many people talk about it. And this was actually already on my winter TBR. I was able to get the signed copy, and this is like the special edition. See, that's her signature down there. I love it. And then it has like really pretty formatting on all the chapter pages. Look at that. I just love it. And then you got the back cover. And what I like about her discreet cover is that it's not just like random flowers. Like it actually matches what's in the story. And she told me there are like Easter eggs on the cover. So like when you're reading the story, you realize like, oh, that's why she has this in there. So yeah, I was originally going to get the model cover because that one is gorgeous. But this one had the really pretty formatting. So I'm glad I went with this copy. And they even gave me like some really cute stickers and bookmarks. So this one is cute. It's like a little bookmark, but it's like a concert ticket. The Hometown Heartless is the name of the band from the book. So that's really cool. It's like an actual ticket, which I love. And then they even have this like little ribbon. The reason why I wanted to read this book in particular is because everybody says it's like one of the most angsty romances they've ever read. And I love a good angsty romance. So I was pumped. Yeah, I'm excited. The bookmark, it says a hurricane, a tempest, a violent force of nature. The only kind I've ever looked forward to. That just sounds amazing. I'm excited that I got to not only meet the author, but I got to get it signed. And it was my first book signing ever. So it was just a really cool experience. And I'm glad that I was able to pick this up. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this book haul. Give this video a like if you did. Comment down below telling me the last book that you bought yourself. And make sure you hit that subscribe button so you won't miss my future videos. And I'll see you next time. Bye.